Hi, Gemma here. I am a modern calligrapher and creative business coach, so I'm in the perfect position to tell you how to start a calligraphy business. Now, starting a business can feel overwhelming, especially if you don't have any kind of business experience or experience setting up a small business, but I am here to break it down for you into 4 simple steps so you can feel that you can get started with your calligraphy business and you know kind of where to go and what to do. Starting a business can definitely feel overwhelming if you've never done anything business related before. I mean, I have a business degree, but it's still very different to starting a small business. So you are in the right place to learn how to start a business. I'm going to be giving you 4 simple steps to get started and launch your business. And it really isn't as scary as you may think. So let's get into it. Step number 1 is deciding what to do. Now this seems simple, right? You create calligraphy, you should be able to decide what to do and how to sell it. But as you become immersed in the world of calligraphy and you start seeing more and more about all these cool things that calligraphers are doing, it can lead to overwhelm quickly. You could be doing signage, workshops, commissions, wedding work, stuff for businesses, wedding invites, which is actually graphic design, not really calligraphy, but it can quickly feel overwhelming and you may not know where to start. You may like the sound of everything and you can't narrow it down. Well, I am here to give you some questions that you can ask yourself to help narrow it down. I mean, overall it comes down to, what do you like to do? Which sounds simple, and it is. What do you like to do? So do you like sitting down and creating calligraphy for hours and hours? You just love calligraphy itself. You get really in the zone and you can just keep creating and creating. Personally, I am not that person, so I knew that things like wedding work and signage and things were not for me. Do you like talking about calligraphy? Do you love, talking about this thing that you love to other people? That could be a sign that you may be good with workshops. Do you like creating new designs? Do you like meeting new people? There are kind of a few questions that you can ask yourself to start thinking about what you actually like and what that may point you to. So I, for example, don't like having to do the same thing every day. So product-based business wouldn't be my thing, where, I had to reliably send out stuff every single day. I had to create stuff and ship stuff. Like, I know people who absolutely love packing their products and, making it look super lovely and decorative. I'm just not one of those people. I kind of get a bit bored whilst I'm doing it, whilst I know some people absolutely love that thing. So it's these sorts of things that you need to really ask yourself, would I like that aspect of that type of business or that niche, to really narrow down what you can do and what you want to do. Because something I want to reiterate is, just because most calligraphers do XYZ does not mean that you have to do that too. So definitely the most common example is wedding calligraphy. A lot of calligraphers love weddings, but also a lot of calligraphers just start out with weddings because they feel it's the done thing and it's what they see in front of them, so it's where they get started. I mean, if you really love wedding calligraphy, that's fantastic that you found something that works for you. But I just kind of want to reiterate that doesn't have to be your first step. You can explore other options. Okay, step 2 is deciding your pricing. Now, I just want to warn you. Etsy is kind of dangerous ground for artists because pricing on there will often be kind of on the low side, particularly for specialised work. So things like creating calligraphy commissions will often be really cheap on there. So Etsy isn't always the best place to understand what you should be charging. It's kind of the absolute bare minimum starting point, really. So I would check out other calligraphers or artists in the same niche as you. Don't just look at, Etsy. do a Google search, try to find other competitors, see what they're charging. So in my context, I am in the workshops niche, so I looked on Eventbrite to see what other calligraphers were charging and started to get a feel for what the actual industry rate was. Because before I did any competitor research, I was charging less than half of what I should be charging. So definitely don't skip this step. You should be looking at what others charge to get a feeling of what you need to be charging. And I think don't get super caught up on, I need to know my hourly rates. You can figure that out with time, and as you get more experienced, you will start to understand where your hourly rate should sit. And so definitely look into pricing. Don't skip this step. Compare with other creatives to see what you should be charging. And remember that you can bump up your prices at any point. So last year my workshop tickets were £45. This year I brought them up to £55. You're allowed to change your prices if you feel at a later date that you're worth more and you want to be charging more. Step 3 is make a plan, which you may think, well, obviously I'm going to have some sort of plan, Gemma, but really think about not just what you're offering, but how you are going to promote it. So posting to Instagram once a week about what you're offering probably isn't going to be enough to, promote your work properly. You need to have a strategy for how you want to be promoting things. And whilst you're getting started and potentially have limited time, you really need to think about the why behind what you're doing. So when I wanted to start teaching, I was posting YouTube videos, but I didn't connect the two. So I had a YouTube channel which was doing its thing, and then I had my teaching and that was doing its thing. I didn't connect the two, so I didn't say on my YouTube channel, oh, I actually teach, you can check out my teaching resources, like my teaching products and offers. So really think about the purpose behind things, and think about where you're going to promote stuff. So not just Instagram, where you have a website with SEO that's going to bring customers onto your website from Google. Are you going to be promoting in relevant Facebook groups? Are you going to potentially look at paid advertising? That might be, something you don't do as you get started, but really think about how you're going to promote. And also the logistics behind a product or service, and really thinking about all the steps that you need to launch. So let me give the example of workshops. I needed to find a venue, I needed to find a way to create a workbook and a way to sell tickets. So I had to think about all those things before I could properly get started. But it isn't as complicated as you may think. The launching part is the trickier part. Once you've launched, you can then refine, which brings me on to point number 4, which is refine. So once you've launched a product or service, you just want to refine it over time. I really do not want you to get caught up on your product or service being absolutely perfect on the first time. It definitely does not need to be. You can refine with time. Every aspect of my business has been refined with time. So my workshops, for example, my workbooks have improved a lot in the last few years. I now have a bunch of blog posts on my website, and I've changed the look of my website and really tried to refine how my business looks and the quality of what I'm offering with time. And I think that's an easier approach, thinking about launching a product as step 3, just getting it out there. And then step 4, knowing that you actually have some breathing room, that you have time to actually refine as you get more experienced. When you launch something, it's not going to be perfect because you don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge, you don't know what will be a bestseller, what works well, what customers love. You'll learn that with time, and that is actually quite comforting because you can refine as you get more experienced, and as you get more money in your business, and you can invest a little bit in things. Okay, so that is it for starting a calligraphy business. Please let me know any questions you may have in the comments, and I will do my best to answer any questions you may have. Please also check out my memberships. They are for other creatives such as yourself. So I have one for those that want to teach, and I have one for those that are just getting started. So that includes things such as finding your niche, finding out pricing, setting up a website. It has all the things you need to get started with your creative business, so definitely go check those out. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.